What's going on, everyone? It's GeneralTarheel, your coach of Charlotte Card Banks, bringing you the UPFC Week 3 versus Coach Panther and the Carolina Clefables. Coming into Week 3, we did get that nice win against Chewy, a nice 5-0. And for the featured matches for Week 2, Jock of the Peppers did unfortunately win 3-0 against Snorlaxis over Team Caterpies. So it is now 1-1 for the featured matches. And for the Week 3 featured match, it will be the Caterpies' own Levenant against Peppers' Coach Hugo. So that'll be an interesting one. Hopefully, Caterpies pull right back in the lead for this week. And then as of for my Week 3, I decided I wanted to do a replay against Panther, see how this would go. It was mainly a quick battle. You know, I just rather not upload 30-minute videos all the time. So I just wanted to try this out. So quickly over my team, I had a very basic Mega Manetric with Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Flamethrower, and Hidden Power Ice. Thunderbolt for stab, Volt Switch for momentum, Flamethrower for the Mega Scizor, Rose Raid, etc. And the Hidden Power Ice specifically for the Garchomp. Mega Manetric, I just want to try and use it better. So far I haven't, and I just want to be comfortable with it to a point because this is a great Mega and I want to get used to it. And then moving to a Escavalier, I just love this thing. I just like using it. It's an absolute monster. I had Mega Horn, Iron Head, knockoff and Drill Run with a Life Orb. This was a Trick Room abuser, so I could use it on Dusclops over there as well. This mainly just put a hole into his entire team, except a defensive Mega Scizor, which of course I'm pretty sure he brought. You'll see in a little bit, but and then I have a defensive Dusclops in order to take on his Garchomp and his Mega Scizor, with Will-O-Wisp, Trick Room, Pain Split, and Nightshade. It would be nice if I got a Will-O-Wisp off on Garchomp and Mega Scizor when I was looking at this battle. And then next up, Cloyster. Cloyster did a lot to his team. Absolutely, it probably just won the game if I just weakened Scizor, and then I could just win the game between. I had the Shell Smash, of course. I only had Rock Blast, Ice Shard, and Icicle Spear. I didn't really need the water coverage because I felt like the Rock Blast would be good enough, because it did get the kills on anything necessary, so there was no worries about that. And then I had a Spidef Clefable. This was in case he brought his Manaphy, which he has on the roster, but he didn't bring against me. I had Thunderbolt, Flamethrower. Thunderbolt, of course, just hit the Manaphy a little bit harder. Flamethrower in case the Scizor switch in, and then Wish Protect. I wanted to bring like Moonlight and Stealth Rocks, but in case he was a Rain Setter Manaphy, I couldn't bring Moonlight because I want to get that much health back. And I had to be unaware Clef, which doesn't get soft-boiled unaware, so if he tail-glowed with mana, it wouldn't do like anything to Clefable. And then lastly are banded, just Powerhouse Emboar with Flare Blitz, Wild Charge, Superpower, and Sucker Punch. So turn 1, I wanted to scout whether this was a Scarf Garchomp or whether it was like a offensive with Stealth Rocks or something. So I wanted to lead Mega Manetric in case he didn't lead it. And I wanted to switch into Dusclops just to check, because this is my defensive option, and it proves he's Yachi Berry. So he would have lived in HP Ice, he would have done around half still with that Yachi Berry, and he would have killed my Mega Manetric turn 1. So, and then immediately I wanted to get health off with Dusclops because I knew he would switch. Here Panther overpredicted and thought I would go into Escavalier, which I was considering, but I wanted to get Trick Room up for Escavalier before I switched. And I didn't realize how much this Magmortar did to me in team build, because look at that damage just from a Life Orb. If that thing was Specs, I'd be in trouble. He was kind of forced to switch here instead of going for a move, assuming I was a negative speed Emboar, and I would have actually went first this turn and destroyed his Magmortar. But if he wasn't max speed Mag, he would actually outsped me, because I'm not a Trick Room Emboar. I'm an Emboar with like 3/4 a speed investment. The only Trick Room abuser was Escavalier. I only did it because Escavalier did a lot versus team, and just Escavalier's coverage with his crazy attacks just works really well under Trick Room. Choice Band really limits it to getting a kill or at least a lot of damage and then forcing me to switch, which my team doesn't really do well unless I have my Regenerator Chain Growth. So that was one thing. But this was very helpful for Emboar because I was just able to click Superpower here, and he turns out to be a special defense version of Reuniclus, so that does half damage. I get a free switch into Escavalier here. And then I make a double knowing he's going to go into Scizor, since that's his only defensive answer to Escavalier. And then I get a free Flare Blitz off with Emboar, and As you can see, it was a regen Reuniclus, so most likely regen AV. And it goes down to that Flare Blitz right there. And right here, I kind of, in my opinion, misplayed. Because this mag does a lot to my team, and it kind of would have been better if I went ahead and got it out of the way. I mean, I actually take that back. It's not a misplay because I was banded. I should have went for Sucker Punch, but I was banded. So we're moving on. I went into Clefable, assuming he'd go for F-Blast. But he shows he's a mix set. Earthquake still doesn't do anything to me. So, that was simple. But, then he just goes in the Roserade, which is the main switch in. But I just want to go Whisper Protect in case he went Scizor and possibly hit it with a Flamethrower. But, Roserade proved to be a problem this battle. Because I was hoping he didn't have HP Fire here. And, of course, I get one-shotted by HP Fire. And at this point, I was kind of scared of this thing because I couldn't really take it on. I went Emboar hoping he'd think I outsped him. But, of course, the bluff didn't work. He just gets the kill. At this point, Flamethrower did kill with Mega Manectric. I wanted to Volt Switch knowing Florges would come in, but I couldn't risk it with that Roserade because it took on the rest of my team. So I just went for Flamethrower here, and I was forced to switch in the end. Florges basically can just stall me at this point because my two main ways of killing it are now dead because of the Roserade. I just had to go Dusclops to see if I could stall this thing, but of course the Florges has Toxic, and then it just Dusclops isn't that helpful at that point. I threw Nightshade off just to see what he was doing in case he did a switch. I could get damage off, but this kind of forced me to switch out here for early in the Clef. At this point, of course, I had to get a Wish off here, but I believe I Flamethrowered. No, I protected here. I was just hoping he would go for a Toxic on Clef, and I would just get some health back. But of course, I'm in another bad position against this Roserade. Force myself to go into Dusclops to get that resist on the Sludge Bomb. Or I go Mega Manectric here. Because if he didn't go for that Giga Drain, he was in kill range of Flamethrower, which was important. But I decided to still go for the Flamethrower just to get as much damage off on that Roserade when I should have Volt Switched. And I basically gave up at this point. I just wanted to get some damage off on this Florges. And then I still Volt Switched just because, okay, like maybe I do have a chance because he was just still healing in the end. When I was basically saying kill my Mega Manectric in this game. And then at this point when I went Clef, he went Roserade, and this is when I clicked Flamethrower, because I needed damage on this thing. I mean, it's still a problem, like, I couldn't do anything here. So I had to go Dusclops, and this is when I get the resist on the Sludge Bomb. If he would have clicked Giga Drain there, it would have been more of a problem. But here he goes for Giga Drain, but luckily my Nightshade does just enough to take it out after the Life Orb recoil. And luckily that thing's out of the way, but it didn't matter at this point in the match because my team was weakened from that greatly. Magmortar comes out. I just let Dusclops go down. Of course, it's too weak. Mega Manectric I sent out. I really should have went for Volt Switch once again, but I went for Thunderbolt. It wouldn't have mattered since he brought out Chomp. I just went for HP Ice here, knowing he had the Yachi. But I went for it just so Cloyster didn't have to deal with it, so it could go for Ice Shard on it if it needed to, instead of Icicle Spear if I didn't want to set up yet with Cloyster. And at this point, even if Cloyster set up, Scizor still had to be weakened, so at this point I still had no way of winning. Because if he was a max defense Scizor, like I expected, Rock Blast, all the hits and everything after Shell Smash, it only does 45% to him if he's max defense. So here I just went for Ice Shard. And he goes Florges here because Moonblast can one-shot Cloyster, which I didn't know at the time. Need to remember how frail Cloyster is, especially defensively. So I went Clef. I was hoping to stall for a little bit. I was hoping he goes Scizor here, so I clicked Flamethrower, but smart of him, he just went for Toxic. So at this point it was just giving up. I threw up a Wish here, but I also didn't want to stall him at the same time because there would have been no point. His Florges would have just gotten more health back and stuff, and it would have been pointless. Because I don't have like any form of stab, I don't have any way of hurting Florges really. So I just let Clef go down and hope this Shell Smash sweep is possible, but it isn't, because Moonblast will, if it doesn't kill me because it's a roll, then Bullet Punch would just clean me up. So, but it doesn't matter because he gets a Moonblast crit. Roll is in his favor anyways. But Panther picked up that nice win against us. It did get him his first win, and we are now 1-2. But UPFS, it mainly just focuses on the featured matches. So our differential doesn't matter too much. It's basically us getting comfortable with our teams before the featured match. But unluckily for Panther, after his week 1 featured match, he's just here at this moment. He's just getting battles done because he has to. But hopefully our boy Levenant for the featured match beats Hugo. I know Hugo's a good competitor, so that'll be interesting to look at. That'll be it from me for the UPFC this week. Make sure to check out the APA team build and the APA battle for this week also going up. Sub, like, share, deuces.